Welcome back to the Dream School podcast. I'm Ronan and I'm here with
Henry.
And today's topic is going to be AI or artificial intelligence. It's quite the controversial topic these days. So Henry, why not you start us off? Like what is the impact it's been having on work and people's lives for that matter?
Yeah, I think people get quite scared about it because it's this sort of stuff of science fiction movies. But I think it's just another change in technology, another advancement. And I think it's important to recognize that it's just a tool.
Yeah.
It just does a function. It performs a function. And I don't think there's much to be worried about. The people who tend to complain about it most are either people who don't know what it is or people who are scared of being replaced by it.
Yeah.
At which point I kind of say fair enough, because I personally believe there are far too many musicians and graphic designers as there is. And in English, we say separate the wheat from the chaff.
Oh,
like separate the wheat from the husk of the wheat. And that's just kind of what it is, really. It's an unfortunate consequence of technological development, but I don't really think my job will be threatened. So
that's true.
I'm not too bothered, really.
True.
And I think, again, if you do a job that really requires human work, then it's not really a big problem.
Yeah, like
if
construction or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from construction to academia, although the jury's out on that one.
That's true.
But real academia, construction, all these different industries where you actually have real human skills and things, that's not going to be threatened. So.
Yeah, like coding is a big one. Like coding and like website designs and graphic design. Like those are probably the people that are most scared, I believe, seeing them. Like, because like I was on ChatGPT one time when I was considering going into web development, and I told it to write me a code for a basic website. And now I had been learning it for maybe 2-3 weeks now. I had made my own website and everything. And the AI, just from a simple text of ChatGPT, made a better website than I had. So like, I can see why the fear for these people is coming, because like, give it a few years and these people will be out of jobs. And that's a big industry. And a lot of people, I believe, were convinced that like these computer jobs were safe and not replaceable, and so many of them went into the college for like computer science in most recent years. So it's a huge population, and that field's become saturated, but it's now very threatened by AI because it can do what everyone else has been studying to do, because it's literally a computer itself,
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing. It represents a trend that has always been going on throughout history. I mean, imagine if you graduated from your degree in economics from the University of St. Petersburg in 1989.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, the Berlin Wall's fallen.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're just kind of sat there like, oh, well, I feel like a bit of an idiot now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of, and that was probably a lot harsher than what a lot of these, grads are going through now. So I think it's just the same wherever you go. And I do feel bad for those people. I think definitely.
It's hard.
But it's technology. If you do a job where your work is 100% dictated by a computer, I think inevitably the computers are going to end up doing it for you.
And we knew we knew that technology was going to get to this kind of point anyways. Like we've known it. I mean, we've had movies from the 80s saying that it's going to happen. Like people just refuse to believe it because they're like, oh, it's not real. It's science fiction. And I understand that. Like Star Wars doesn't seem very feasible to me, but we've had movies that have predicted such things and people just didn't take it seriously. Like comparing the growth of technology from the 80s to now, like should it really surprise you that we've gotten to this point with AI? Like look at phones from the 80s. They were like bricks, and now we can literally have a computer on our phone. So like these people, I think, put themselves in this kind of a situation, truly. I mean, AI is just, we've known AI has existed for how long now? Maybe like 6-7 years. So. No, it was very weak and stupid back then, but with how fast technology grows, are we really surprised that it's gotten to this point? What do you think, Henry?
I'm not particularly surprised, no. And I think there's always going to be massive shifts to the labour market, in the labour market.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, whether it is some big political event or a technological invention, these things always happen. And I think it will probably be a good opportunity for new industries to open up.
Yeah, that's true.
I think when they close down all of the tech and computer science and web design, graphic design industries, maybe we'll see some new creative things popping up, things that we could never even have dreamed of. So I think it'll be an opportunity in the long run.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like with graphic design, actually, people draw sometimes, like physically draw for graphic design. Like those can't be replaced. And I would argue that most of the people that physically draw ends up better than what the computerized graphic designers can make. So like, do you think there'll still be a field for graphic design even with AI? Because I think that's one that really can't be replaced entirely.
Yeah, I think so. That's the thing. You can't tell whether it's a human or AI sometimes. Google do have a quiz, which I would recommend, where it's guess the AI art.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like 1 out of 4. No, 1 out of 4 is real.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 is AI. And it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. But I think largely you would be able to know. You would be able to know, even though I didn't do very well in those tests. But,
that's true, yeah.
But yeah, and even if you don't, then what's the point really? Because these corporations are so faceless anyway. The logo is meaninless, so it doesn't really matter.
They don't really care about the employees. They just want more money. So like AI is a way for them to save on labor costs and make more money. Like, like I think a big concern with AI too is older generations. Like I've been on Facebook groups and seen like these like older ladies, like they post like some cute puppy doing something. It's AI generated. And like me as a young person can see that. But these old people are convinced it's real, you know? Like, oh, what a cute puppy. He's having such fun. I wish I was there to see that. Like, and it's quite sad how deceptive it's become for a lot of the older people who don't really, care about technology because they grew up in an age with very minimal technology like it is now. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the deception of AI?
Yeah, maybe the old people on Facebook are bots. Maybe they're AI. It's just an AI echo chamber. Yeah, this podcast has been generated by AI. But in terms of deception, I think that's the real big problem when you use deep fakes.
Yeah, deep fakes like scary.
And you can create fake videos. But I think the funny thing is that AI is now being used in academic spheres to detect whether AI is being used in a paper. Yeah. So it's a circular logic, and I think it's the same with those videos. I think you'd be able to tell fairly easily if AI was used by simply using more AI software to detect it. So kind of technology always solves itself in that way.
I mean, with the papers and academics, like the problem with what I've noticed with like writing with AI is it's lifeless. It's a soulless paper. You can tell it's written usually just by the words it uses, like because 90% of students aren't using that well put together English structures and words too. Like it's using words that 90% of English speakers don't use every day in their lives. And like you can kind of tell it was written by AI because it's soulless. Like you can tell the difference between a human who put emotion into their writing and a robot or AI that just wrote it because it was asked to, But again, it's a tool, as you said at the start of this podcast. It's a tool. So why should we care if students are using it? Like calculators. Like calculators are a tool for math. AI is a tool for really anything that you need it to be. So why are we stopping AI but not calculators? Like if we really want kids to critically think and get better at, just hands-on skills, then make them do math without a calculator. Like that's kind of how I've related it. It's just a tool for advancement. Now, maybe not for everything for students, but I think they should be allowed to use it for majority of some or assistance if they're stuck or they need words or something. And it's easier than a Google search,
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's been permitted to be used in academic journals as a spell checker and to adapt the structure and things like that. But there was one funny incident where a paper was submitted to a very prestigious journal called Elsevier, which I'd never heard of. I just saw it on the news. And it used the sentence, "Certainly I can help you with that," in the first paragraph, which is the ChatGPT. Yeah. So they'd copied it directly from ChatGPT.
They didn't even try to change it. They didn't even try,
but the important thing is that it got through the so-called peer review of the journal. And now it costs $2,000 to submit something to this journal. It's one of those big American ones that are very expensive.
Yeah.
And it got through.
Wow.
And that's kind of why I'm not really too bothered, because in every industry, whether it's academia or some business thing, I mean, it's kind of a lot of politics.
Yeah, it is really. It really is. Yeah,
I don't think these people are taking it too seriously, so I'm not too worried. I mean, if the work is valid, then if it's got a sentence in it that says, "Certainly I can help you with that," it looks ridiculous. But
it does. Yes.
It doesn't make it any less legitimate. Yeah. It is what it is.
It is. Yeah. But do you think it undermines like the hard work of not only previous generations, but kids who want to test their skills on their own without the assistance of AI? Do you think this undermines it? Like if a kid in class worked on his entire project all by himself, he researched it, went to the library, all that, and he got a lower grade than the kid who used an AI. Like, do you think that's wrong? Do you think there should be like some kind of rule or regulation on that?
I don't know. I mean, it's a good question, isn't it? But I think, to be honest, it doesn't work smart, not hard. Yeah. I think is what I would say.
Okay, we're smarter.
Really, that's the thing. As long as it's not cheating, it's fine. Because actually, there are so many students I know who just pay for their papers anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is the thing, right? Cheating on your papers has existed since
the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time. I mean, I think Donald Trump cheated on his exams when he went to a good university.
Yeah,
I believe, but I
he's
think
a pretty smart guy.
He was called out. Well, he was called out for cheating. I think.
Yeah, of course.
Some papers.
I think everyone's
and to
cheated.
get into the university in America, there's a big industry, right?
It was,
of shooters to get into Harvard and Yale, and people to do your entrance exams for you, and so be it. So I think it's just a trend that's been continuing for a very long time.
Yeah, it has.
And what we're seeing is, I think, probably the end of it, because AI, I'm not sure how much further it could go than AI. There's not going to be anything beyond AI.
Yeah,
it's just going to be more advanced AI.
Yeah, plus I don't think AI can ever get smarter than the creators of it.
Exactly.
Because it has to be fed knowledge by people. So it'll never surpass humans, but it will be as smart as us, I would say. Or just maybe a little less smart, because we're the ones creating it. It can't get smarter than what we don't know. So frankly, but I think that leads into the big conspiracy theory of like AI robots and like Terminator and stuff like that. Like, do you think we'll ever get to that kind of a point where they are like moving beings that actually can perform jobs or like look like humans, even like with fake skin and eyes and stuff? Because we've seen those robots on like news where it looks like a human. It's got kind of like facial expressions and it talks and answers you when you ask it questions. Like, do you think that's a threat even like in 100 years, maybe? Like,
I don't think so, to be honest, because I think people forget, and I think you touched upon it there, like there are limits to our existence. We live in a closed system, the Earth is a closed system. There's a fixed amount of resources, a fixed amount of, knowledge, right? There's a fixed amount of, we figured out the periodic table 200 years ago. That's it. There's nothing, that's it,
Maybe one or two, maybe like dark matter.
Yeah, dark matter. Exactly. But in
That-
terms of what we've got, we've basically figured it out already. So the thought of having these complex AI robots roaming the Earth,
Yeah.
when very recently, because of the situation in Taiwan, they couldn't even make new cars.
Yeah, that's
because
true,
they
because it
couldn't
was
get
the
the
superchip.
microchips.
Yeah, the
They couldn't get the
microchip,
microchips from an island off the coast of China.
Yeah.
And so the entire global car and laptop industry
Got
ground to a halt. And so the thought that we could have these robots roaming around, again, it's the stuff of science fiction. And I think that's what people get scared of because of these films and stuff. But realistically, the painful truth is that how much do you think that people who are like making your H&M clothes are getting?
Paid,
human labor is always going to be dirt cheap.
It is, yeah.
And so
especially
there's
in
no
countries
need
with
to-
bad regulations.
Unfortunately,
that's true,
and that's the way the world is. So the thought that we could have these robots, like, it's not going to be done if it's not profitable.
Yeah, exactly.
And to have these AI robots with all these complex machines and materials,
Yeah.
it's not possible. We
Plus-
can barely get lithium.
Plus, to make these like robots, say, affordable, they'd have to be mass produced.
Yeah.
And do you think we have the resources, the time, and the brains to mass produce that many robot AIs that could work like that? I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Like, we can barely produce like a lot of like those microchips. Like, only one country was able to produce the world supply. Like, that just shows that maybe we don't have the resources for AI robots yet. Maybe if we colonized another planet, but in the foreseeable future, it seems highly unlikely. And I think you're right. It's a stuff of science fiction.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'd be much more profitable to keep making iPhones and rocket missile drones than it is to be making
Robots.
AI robots to help you around
true.
the house for now. And on that note, thanks very much for listening
Yeah,
again.
I think that was a pretty good one, Henry.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you guys.
Next time.
Yeah.